Hi everybody, it's Katie here. Um, let's see. It is October 7th, and I'm really excited to kind of introduce you to a new series I want to do on my channel. And just some background information. I have really kind of been inspired by seeing all these interviews and conversations about race, about just being a freaking human, and especially pertaining to people my age. I've definitely been binging YouTube videos of other people who are very honest and um, authentic in talking about their experiences. They're not afraid to get emotional. They're not afraid to just show you what it's really like. And something I've always loved is conversations with people. And so, as a woman who's about to turn 25, I thought it might be a really fun kind of project to interview a bunch of my friends who are also navigating these unprecedented times and see how they're doing. And so I am still thinking about what name I want to use, but by the time this video comes out, I should have a name for the series. But yeah, so basically, I'm going to be having a couple, like 5 or 6. I know that's not a couple, but you get my drift, right? When's the last time someone actually used the term get my drift? I think I'm showing. My age is showing, guys. But anyway, I'm excited because I'm going to have like a series of questions. There you go. And we're just going to like have a virtual conversation with probably some alcohol. You know, because why not? It's not like you can have a girls' night via social distancing. So actually, you can. But you know what I mean. It's not like you can just go out for a girls' night out anymore. But we can do it via the computer and we can pretend we're at like a fancy bar or something. But yeah, I'm really excited and I hope you guys are too. And if you like these conversations or want us to talk about anything else, feel free to comment below. But yeah, I'm very excited. Oh, and just so there's no confusion, at some point in the video, Sarah and I kind of like make a couple of jokes because at some point I accidentally said the name of the university we went to, and so I did find a way to edit it out, but just in case there's confusion later, that's why we're talking and kind of laughing at me. So, just FYI. Hello to my 11 whole subscribers out there. This is the first talk in a series that is yet to be named. And I have my lovely guest here, Sarah, no last name.
Perfect.
Sarah Pumpkin. There you go.
Yeah, you know.
And as
That's
you guys can tell, we are definitely not in the same room, so we are social distancing.
it.
And let's see, Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit with whatever information you feel comfortable telling my 11 subscribers, my 11 beautiful subscribers.
Yeah, well, hello. I'm happy to meet you all. I hope you're happy to meet me, even though I can't see any of you. I don't know how people do this. So let's see. Um, I am Sarah. I am a Gemini. I'm not really in like super into astrology, but I don't like not believe it either. But I'm a Gemini. Take as you will with that information. Um, I'm a big fan of cinnamon rolls. They are very exciting to me. I also very much enjoy coffee and reading and, all the good things and having great drink time with Katie, you know.
Do you have a drink with
Yeah.
you?
I have an old beer,
How old?
like a day old, and it's open, so I'm not going to, drink it. But I do have a strawless water bottle that I was just telling you about. So it's hydration. Um, what else about me? I am just, hanging on throughout this whole 2020 season of life. And yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just here. I'm here with Katie. I'm here social distancing and having a great Zoom meeting.
Wow. Yeah, neither of us know how to use technology, you guys. So
No, I thought I did. And I used Zoom for the whole last term of my college career, and here I am. I cannot do it.
Oh, there's a good question for the lovely viewers. What did you go to college for?
That is a good question. Okay, so
Mathematics? No.
so my major is no, my major was English and my minor was creative writing, and here we are. That is it.
So, are you currently working on a creative masterpiece about me?
Yes, it's all about Katie. Just a book of poems about Katie.
Oh, ho,
That are
ho.
our weekly Wednesday talks. That
Oh,
is what it's going to be about.
those would be a masterpiece if they were published.
Oh, Katie, with your newfound love of beer and hold you to
Newfound.
my life so dear.
Newfound. Wow. That's.
Newfound,
Mm, yeah.
newfound love of Budweiser beer. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, Sarah introduced me to Budweiser like 2 weeks ago, and it's cheap and it's
Mhm.
delicious. I'm not drinking it now, though.
Yep. I mean, it's okay. I was spitting out those rhymes though, so I'm doing it
You're
well.
legit. Yeah, you are legit.
Yay.
So, why don't you tell those of us who don't know what being an English major is like?
Oof. Well, it I mean, for the classes wise, I feel like it's just like a whole bunch of discussions, which is like it was I enjoyed that. I feel like as I like progressed through college life, I definitely like felt more comfortable like engaging in those discussions like by the time I was a senior. And so it was actually really cool to be like more confident in like speaking and like also not just being like the person who like backpacks off of ideas and be like to backpack off of that idea,
Oh,
blah, 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 but actually have something like meaningful to say as well. So it's like, I'm sure like you've also like had those experiences, but
if I
um,
had a penny for every time someone said, "Yeah, just going off of that," we wouldn't be
yeah,
in debt, man.
yep. I can pay for college.
Hmm.
But yeah, going off of that, I mean, it just really, I don't know. I enjoyed it just because like I love reading books, and if I got to like write about it and expand my ideas more and like talk to other, I don't know, cool folks about it who also had like cool ways of like interpreting things differently than I do, like I just thought that was awesome. And like, I don't know, I feel like it just really helped me like with my writing too in
Mm.
that way. So it's just very like complimentary overall to like my hopes and dreams and my goals and aspirations in my life.
What are some of your goals and aspirations?
That is a good question.
Like, imagine a world where we weren't in a pandemic.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Before
Yes.
all this hit the fan,
Before.
what were you
Yeah.
hoping?
Yikes. Yeah. Well, I feel like I definitely would have wanted to have lived in like a different country by now. Just because like I don't know, I feel like if I could do a career either that would allow me to have like flexible time to like travel and things, like that would be amazing. Or if I can like travel for my career and do something with that, that would be amazing. So like whether that's like a blogger who gets paid or like, just like a journalist in some way, shape, or form, like I feel like that'd be amazing. That's definitely like one of my goals and aspirations is to just like never stop traveling, never stop seeing the world. Even like small ways, even in the States. Like I would love to go to like the states that I haven't been to and whatnot.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I just am going to keep finding goals and aspirations along the way as I go, and just kind of like hop off of that. Yeah, I guess one like I don't want to say like shorter term goal, but like I would love to like within the next year of hopefully like when things settle down, hopefully, I would love to live in a big city again because that
Mm.
would be really great. I don't know. I would just yeah love the city life. I think and like see if it's really for me and whatnot. But yeah.
Nice. So, in terms of your writing, do you feel like you've always written as a way to kind of like document stuff that's happened, or as a way to like imagine, or do you take inspiration from what you've done to your imaginary world?
Yeah.
I don't know a better way to put that.
Yeah, no. So like actually, I mean like for those of you who don't know, like Katie and I met in this nonfiction class at college, but like I took this fiction class um by the same professor like last year, and I was like, I feel like nonfiction's more my route. Like I just like writing more about my experiences and whatnot. But then in like when I was writing my fiction story for the class, I was like, I actually really like this sort of route just because like I still definitely based it like the majority of it like off of like my life and stuff, but it also like it's just like nice to be able to have those like twists and turns where it like could be more interesting in ways that like
Hmm.
my life isn't, I guess. Like not saying my life isn't interesting, but like just like those little things that I'd be like, ooh, it'd be so cool to like have this plot twist here or whatever. And so like, instead of like
And
what
then
actually
Sarah
happened,
turned around in the grocery store and came face to face with herself.
literally second her twin she never knew she had. Yeah, something like that. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I felt like nonfiction was more my route, but I definitely enjoy fiction. Like I've enjoyed fiction a lot more than I thought. Um,
Oh.
and it definitely like made me imagine and like use my creative, like just like make me like have different ideas and like create like this other world and like stepping into another person's shoes almost and like going from that character and writing like their about their life and like whatever and like creating their backstory, so it's just like it's definitely different, but I
Hmm.
enjoyed it a lot. But then also like I feel like I've definitely also taken writing like into like more of my self-care routines, so I enjoy like writing poems, especially like during quarantine. I feel like I've
Hmm.
turned more towards like poems than anything, which is really interesting and something I did not think that was going to happen. But yeah,
Did you do it at all
um,
before quarantine? Or like have you always been writing poems kind of?
I mean like off and on, but like I took a poetry class this past year too, and so like talk about
Overachiever,
poetry,
you.
literally.
Wow.
And like, yeah, I really enjoyed that class too. And so I think just like after that, and then also taking like a poetry class on like Emily Dickinson, I was like, I think she's badass. So I was like, I kind of want to be badass too. So maybe like I just like some part of me is just like, you can write poems like Emily Dickinson too. So like, here we are.
You are badass though. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But Emily Dickinson is just like, she's on some other level. I don't know. Have you ever read any of her poems?
I have. Not that many. Mostly
Mm-hmm.
because I read it and I'm like, how do you come up with this stuff?
Yep. I feel like there's just like so many different ways you could read her poems. Like one way it could be like about her maybe like love, like romantic love to her brother's wife. Or you could read it as like just like her just like not conforming to like gender stereotypes. And it's just like I love it.
Isn't it wonderful when you realize that women are complex and not just there to look pretty or be a wife or
Yeah.
something?
Have children. Yeah, pop out some babies.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. You know, those type of things. It's fine.
It's a work
Yeah.
in progress, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you like kind of felt that way after like not like after like getting married or anything? Like has that like switched like has anything like that switched for you or like
Hmm. That's a good question, actually. She's trying to steal my job. Just kidding. I don't get paid for this.
thanks, Katie.
Yeah, next week, guys, it's gonna be like Freckle to a Sarah. That's
Mm-hmm. We'll switch off. It's fine.
No, I think I never considered marriage to be like a reason to become just like a housewife, but no, like insult to housewives, of course. It's not an easy thing to
Mhm.
do. But I feel like
Mhm.
it's been interesting to talk of how other people have changed, or even like strangers.
Mhm.
Like I'll mention I'm married, and all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, they'll feel comfortable asking me, "So when are you gonna have children?" And it's like, what? So stuff
Mhm.
like that. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
it's only a matter of time. Your biological clock is ticking. Then I'm like, screw you.
Let's not.
So yeah,
Let's
that's
not.
been the biggest change. Other people.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Ooh.
It's
And just
fun,
like,
huh?
yeah. Do they ask
Yeah.
like your husband about it and whatnot at all, or is it just
No,
you?
I think it's mostly me.
Of course.
It's so
Not
crazy. Yeah.
not surprised,
Like
but
strangers, friends, everybody.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, this isn't really your business.
Mhm.
But back to you, because they don't want to hear about me.
Oh, sorry, Katie. I want to hear about you. So,
Okay, well, maybe later. But I had a question I almost forgot because I have a short attention span.
oh,
But
perfect.
so you have a very unique perspective on college and quarantine
Yeah,
because you had to go into quarantine during your last semesters at your undergrad institution, right?
I sure did.
So can you talk a little bit about like the transition and how you had to adjust to it?
Yeah. Um, Honestly, it was just all sad.
No.
It was just yeah, it was definitely very sad. Like I remember I was at like this this talk that like I was at for class, and like someone got an email or like we all got the email during it saying like school's canceled for the next term. And then a girl started crying, and like no one else was looking at their phones, but since she started crying, I was like, ooh, what's going on? Then afterwards I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And
Oh.
then I went to see like my then boyfriend and then like our friends, and we just like sat all night and we talked and we cried and we drank and we ate a whole bunch of food. It was very sad, and it was like the second to last day of like our winter term there, and so it was just like I was really sad to think that like, oh, it was our last day, like pretty much our like last day on campus. Um and then like my professor, I had like two professors email out saying like, or like all my professors actually emailed out saying like, oh, like you don't have to do like any final things if you don't want to, or like, they just like lessened the work for us just because like it was a really shitty time.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, and then I stayed on campus because then it was spring break for us, and then you could stay on campus for like a few, I think it was like as long as like you had to within like 2 or 3 weeks of that time. But I stayed on there just to like, or I stayed on campus just to like be with friends and things,
Mm.
for the most part. And yeah, I remember that weekend of finals, we all just like, all of the seniors, like we tried to do a whole bunch of senior things at the end because like during our last term, like whatever we could plan and do, like would have done it during spring term, but like we all just tried to cram it in that weekend. So it was a hot mess, but like it was
Mm-hmm.
just nice to have like everyone was together, and like everyone was just sad. Like, so
Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
hey, by the way, it's your last day on campus as a senior. We never see each other again. See ya. Pack up,
yeah,
please.
yeah, because like you have the, I mean, obviously would have been sad too at the end of spring term, like saying goodbye to everyone, but like it was just, it just felt very rushed, and just like a lot of things just had to end a lot quicker than anticipated, like jumping into like more of an adult world because like I went to live with my sister, and so like I started paying rent right away, and I was like, oh, this is like another adult thing I have to start doing before like I really
Hmm.
wanted to. Um but yeah, so like I moved in with my oldest sister and her husband, who she was married to for like 3 months at the time. So I felt bad like going in on their like first year of marriage and being
Oh
like,
boy.
"Hi, you have a sister living with you. Like, how's it going?" But they were just like really nice and really accommodating and like very supportive through everything that I was going through. Like when I would like start crying when they come home from work and I'd be like, you know, I'm just so sad that like I don't have in-person classes right now because like I had really great professors and really great like just like overall classes that like I'm grateful that like I could still have done over
Yeah.
like video and over Zoom and whatnot, but it definitely just wasn't the same just because like you just don't get that in person
Yeah.
feel and like not everyone was showing up to the classes anyways and like which is fair, but like I don't know. I mean like yeah, everyone was on my end like was supportive as much as they could be and that was really I'm really grateful for that.
Mm.
But yeah. Yeah, so my moved in with my sister and her husband for my last term and it was just so different and honestly, I feel like what saved me was low key their dog because
Animal therapy.
yep, Oakley and I would hang out all day and he would just like let me pet him and we would cuddle or he would just like be right next to my like to my side when I was like just like down or doing homework or whatever and um so I feel like we really got close and then like my sister and her husband would like come home at the end of the day and then it was just like, oh, this is so nice and um so yeah, it was just very nice to have like a very nice and supportive dog and very warm warm soul
Yeah.
with me the whole day.
Yeah, it's like,
um
okay, you would I feel like you would have been very lonely without the dog.
for sure, yeah, I definitely would not have had like very literally I would not have made it through as much as I have like without that dog. So yep.
Yes.
um
Did you have to leave the dog eventually to move?
yeah, but when I visit my sister and her husband and the dog like weekly and so whenever I
Okay.
see him then I get all the tail wags and I get zoomies for me and he
Oh.
knows that his auntie loves him very much and it's very sweet. But yeah, that was the last term for me. It was just a lot. It was just such a weird time and I know like everyone went through their own things during like
Mm-hmm.
that first initial like part of quarantine, but it's just like so surreal doing it and like now I like adjusting to like being in the real world after college and like
Mm.
adjusting to it, but also adjusting to like living in a pandemic and whatnot. But
Yeah. It's like I feel
yeah,
like none of us expected that for the future.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely, yeah, I feel like a lot of us was just like, oh yeah, like pandemics, they're a part of like history, whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, here we are. Like I remember my roommate, she was a biochem major and she loves studying diseases and like infectious
Oh
diseases.
boy.
And so she was like keeping track of COVID when it like all started like back in January and whatnot. And then all of a sudden it started like moving closer and closer to the States and all of a sudden like just like close, like blew up and I was like, that's such a weird timeline to think about that we were just talking about it like 2 months ago and it was just like this seemingly like physically far away thing and now it's literally here and it's not great.
Yeah, and some people still think it's like a hoax.
Yeah, and I don't get it. I don't get it at
Me
all.
either. I still don't understand why it's like a political agenda. Like, isn't it like over 200? Is it 200,000 people have died or more?
Yeah, I've heard that it's like 200,000 like around that number and it's and certain political figures are saying like we don't have to worry about it, but
Yeah.
that's not the case. Like
It's like,
that.
yeah, I'm sure you don't have to worry when you have like the top healthcare professionals in the world at your disposal, but not everybody has
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't get how you can say that to so many people who've lost, like family members and friends and like even just, whoever just to this. So it's like I don't agree.
I know.
I don't understand a whole lot what's going on. And so
I
hopefully,
feel.
yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
all 11 of you go out and vote or vote by mail because
Mm,
that's also
mm,
not a
mm,
hoax.
mm, 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 mm. There we go. Yes. Love it.
Don't you love living in unprecedented times?
Yeah. I'll cheers to that with my day old beer. Mm-mm. There you go.
I was like, don't drink it. Please don't drink it.
Yeah. Mm-mm. What kind of beer is that? It looks good.
It's Shiner Sea Salt and Lime.
Oh,
It's very good.
it's fancy.
Not really. I don't know.
It
I
seems
like
fancy.
I like lime. I think I like it better when it's in like the bottle though. Something about the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
I'm just a snob. It's fine.
I've always felt that way about soda though too, like with like grape soda or orange soda, and it just feels very much like I don't know, like a 90s like flashback almost with like a striped straw coming out and you're like, "Ooh, look at me. Striped straw and glass soda." I don't know. I
Oh
thought
my gosh. I
so
feel
cute.
though. Do you
Yeah.
ever feel just like randomly old these days? Because I think the other day, well, not the other day, feels like it's been years. Now, I remember like last fall, I mentioned that I was going to Skype my friend, and this girl I worked with was like, "Oh, Skype?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know what that is." And she was like, "Oh, we don't really use Skype. I think I'm too young." And she was being completely serious. And I was just like,
You're like, "No." Yeah. No, I definitely understand, especially working with kids and like I was just like looking at like that we have like the kids' birthdays up on the wall, like where like their names under like each month where their birthdays are at. And like some of them had like, they were born in like 2016, 2015. And I was like, wait, I was like, hold on a minute. Like, I know it's possible, but also that just seems so odd to me. And I was like,
"Yeah,
I was making moves in those years, and these whole ass humans were being born. We're just starting their lives.
yeah." It's like you think that the 70s are still 30 years ago, but it's not. It's like the 80s now.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise.
Surprise! Here you are.
Here we are. It's great. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So, have
Just
you come up with any self care tips you'd like to share to my 11 people? Which I think one of them is actually a bot.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm definitely still like finding my own ways to like self-care because sometimes I feel like I say things are self-care, but also I know that they're like bad for me. Like, not gonna lie, right before we called, I just finished a whole bag of like flavored pretzels. And I was like, okay, it wasn't a whole bag. It was like finishing up like half of a bag.
Whatever.
Ha. So, anyways, I was like, you know, that would be great. That's fine. But I know that like the little voice in the back of my head's just like, Sarah, you don't need to do this. Like, maybe you're just eating because I'm not even stressed or anything. It's just like maybe I felt bored and
Boredom.
I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah. So, like, I feel like one self care thing for me has definitely been like keeping myself in check, even though I'm not that great at it. So, definitely
Huh.
still like working on it, but like self care, like short term versus long term. And I feel like that's really hard to like wrap my head around sometimes. And like, just like giving
Oh.
myself those check-in points and being like, okay, like we can actually like do the things that you've been meaning to the past like few days, or like if there's a bill coming up, I'm like, oh, don't wait until the very last second to do it. Like you can do it right now, Sarah, and it is great. Yep.
Oh. I've never actually heard of the short term, long term self care. I feel like all of the ones people usually talk about is like immediate gratification.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like this is how I just, like, I've kind of looked at it just because, I don't know, I'm sometimes just bad at, like, putting things off, and so, like, I've, like, made and then, like, it just, like, comes back to, like, bite me in the ass later on. So, like, I don't know, just trying to get myself into more of, like, routines or, like, practices that, like, could, like, maybe benefit me more than, like, I think. Like, getting up earlier in the mornings, like, I'm not a morning person, but, like, I also realize, like, I love having, like, actually sitting down and having my coffee in the morning and, like, listening to a podcast or, I don't know, just, like, hanging out and, like, letting the coffee, like, go through my veins and letting it seep through me and wake me up and feel glorious. That's how I that's how I take in coffee. I just think it's glorious in the mornings.
I agree
Yep,
100%.
yeah. But, like, I can't enjoy that, and I can't do that when I'm, staying up super late and then getting up really late before work, and, it's, like, really just trying to, like, wrap my head around being like, "Okay," like, long I guess, like, long term being, like, in the morning versus at night, but, like, I know it feels, like, good to, like, stay up really late right now, but, like, in the morning, I can get up and do really fun things, like have coffee and, like, not drink it on the way to work. So, like, I don't know. It's hard to get my mind into that zone, but
It's
really
strange. It sounds like you're just like maturing and being an actual grown up. It doesn't sound like self care. It sounds like you're just trying to be a responsible grown up.
Katie, I literally just finished, like, half a bag of pretzels, and I've debated only having that for dinner, but I did make some really good soup as well, like, a couple of days ago, so I had soup as well,
Hey,
and
there's no one way to be an actual grown up, but that's what you're doing sounds like one
yeah.
of the ways.
Ooh, thank you. That we're here, we're trying at least. And, like, also, another thing about self-care is that, like, I've heard a lot of people, like, I don't know, from, like, the research that I've, like, personally done, it's been like, "Oh, yeah, like, try to get yourself into a routine, try to, like, do things like, get yourself into, like, patterns and whatnot, and it'll make it, like, easier to, do whatever." But also, I realize, like, if I'm, like, too strict on those routines and patterns for me, I just become, like, too stressed to do them, and I don't actually, like, A, enjoy them, or B, I get too stressed, I'm, like, going to mess it up, so then I just don't do it at all.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I feel like it's just giving yourself that, like, love where when it's like, if you do mess up, it's okay. Like, it is fine, and you will, like, just get back to the routine or whatever you're trying to do later on in life.
I feel
And
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I also have always hated making such a like a detailed to do list that seems too intimidating.
Yeah.
Like I've never been able to do other than like college classes. I can't be like 8 a.m. Get up, 8:15, brush teeth. Like I can't do that.
Yep. I don't know if I have my days, like, too detailed and planned out, like, I just feel so, like, unaccomplished if I miss something, then I feel like everything is off, and so I'm like, "I'm just not gonna have a schedule at all because you don't know what's going to happen," which is, like, it's fair, but also, like, I can, like, more so, like, generalize what's going to happen in, like, a vicinity, like, within 5 hours, I will brush my teeth. Like, hopefully, as long as, I don't forget or, like, I don't know, something hits my apartment and causes me not to not to brush my teeth, like, I don't know, something something will allow me to brush my teeth, and it's fine. Uh,
Yeah, seems like it's all about finding like a balance between doing something productive and not being a total potato.
yeah. Mhm. Yep,
Although sometimes you just gotta be potato, you know? Sometimes it's one
yep,
of those days and you're just like, I just have to take care of myself and do things that make me happy today. Even that is
yep.
eating a whole bag of pretzels.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Now, if it
I
is
totally-
happening like every day, maybe consider therapy.
you don't need you don't need a whole bag of pretzels every day. And thank you. I don't I do not eat the full bag of pretzels every day. But yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
just
wasn't
like,
talking about to you just there. I'm trying to talk to my
oh,
11 people too. Like, if you guys ever feel like you're having long periods of like time where you feel like you can't do anything and just feel
um
down, then there's
yeah.
no shame in asking for help.
Yeah, for sure. I thought you were coming at me for my pretzel ways.
No, I devoured like a whole giant bag of like sour cream potato chips. So I got you. So
I
good.
love potato chips, yeah. No, yeah, and I think there's also like going along the lines of like conversations about like therapists. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's this stigma of like, you go to a therapist, you have problems, like capital P, and that's like not the case. Like,
Mm,
therapists are for anything, they can like be there if you're like stressed about your job, or they can help you like, you know unlearn like your trauma experiences and like anything that you've learned from trauma, and like
mm-hmm.
try to unlearn those like behaviors that you do in like your adult life and whatever. And so like I feel like they just have like a range of things that they can like help you with, and like they're literally
Mm,
just a person to like talk to and like talk through things through with them. And like
yeah,
they're like, hopefully they're there for you if they're doing their job right. Like they should be there for you and like be, some sort of way like being supportive, and like just that like, you know that like just like
exactly.
providing a safe space. And so like, yeah, I feel like there is definitely a stigma around therapy, that like you have to have problems to go to therapy, but like,
Well, technically, if you're using that logic, everybody should be in therapy for something. It's not like
yeah.
there's one person who's like, I've never faced any trauma, and it's like, if that's the case, you might have to learn how to be like an actual person.
Right, yeah, or, like, I've never, felt stressed in my life, and, like, like, it just sometimes if you feel stressed, it's nice to, like, talk about it too, and, like, depending on who you are, it's, like, the more you talk about it, like, the more, like, you might get, like, you'll figure out, like, what you actually need to do to, like, not be so stressed about. But then also there's people who are like, the more I talk about it, the more I get stressed about talking about it, so, like, I'm not gonna
Mm,
do that. So, like, it makes sense, but, like, it's still, like, I don't know, it helps. Therapy helps.
yeah. I feel like I'm more concerned for people who are like, no, I would never go to therapy. I don't need that. And it's like, so you
Yeah.
clearly have some stuff you need to work out.
Right, yeah, and I mean, it is hard to, like, open up to a therapist too and be like, "Hi, this is, like, my day, these are my thoughts." Like, it's just hard to, like, be vulnerable almost, but, like, again, like, your therapist should be there for you and not be, like, trying to pry open, like, everything. Like, they should just, like, let you in at your own pace, and, that sort of thing. Just like, you know, what a good relationship and, like, a good, like, friendship, or, relationship of any sorts, I should say, like, that's what it should be like.
Oh, interesting. I just like grab people who look like kind of cool and I hit them until they agree to be my friend, like with you.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah, or just be like,
Yeah.
what's your deepest, darkest secret? And there we go.
I just like in my very tall 5 foot self with my Superman strength. I just pick you up by the shoulders, like we're gonna be best friends.
Best friend. Yeah, that's how it worked.
That's how we
Here
met,
we are.
guys.
But years later, right? Yeah. No, year and like a half.
My gosh. Yeah, guys, you don't know this, but when I met Sarah in class, she was always really nice to me. And my
Yeah.
thought was, why is she being nice to me?
I just thought Katie was cool and she wrote about cool things in class. She also had a Lilo and Stitch phone cover, which I just appreciated. Yeah, she doesn't have any more, so she's not that cool now. But
My
yeah,
husband stole it.
yeah. So here we are. No, I just thought Katie was cool, so I wanted to be around a cool person.
I did not feel cool. Nobody ever feels cool. Actually, there
Mhm.
probably are some, but
Yeah.
you know how those people are.
How to feel like that? I don't know. Some days I feel cool. Like it actually depends if I like have an outfit on, then I'm like, whoa, I feel like really great in this or like really badass. I'm like, here we are. I'm just like looking at my leather jacket right now. I have a black leather jacket, and that always makes me feel really cool. So,
Oh,
yeah, that's one of those ways. It all just
yeah.
depends. Yeah.
Physicality can make an impact.
Hmm.
I always wear T-shirts now, so I don't care anymore.
Yeah. That's fair. Exhibit A. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if they'll be able to see that. I haven't decided if this should be like an actual video or audio.
Oh, interesting. Well, for the audience, I am wearing a
She's wearing
white
a ball
shirt.
gown. No.
No, it is a white shirt. Do not listen to Katie. I'm not sitting in my bed in a ball gown. I'm wearing a white shirt, and it says no prob. No, what does it say? No prob llama, and there's a llama on the back.
But
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I
Oh
remember
then
this shirt from our time at school together. There you go.
yes, yes, my no prob llama shirt. Yep.
So, what is your advice for people in lieu of trying to destigmatize therapy?
Ooh, yeah.
Like, if I gave you like a magic wand, because I have that kind of power, and you could just make it the decree of all the land.
Hmm. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, like, it's hard because, like, I feel like there'd be that fine line of like not pushing therapy onto someone if they like didn't want to, but it's also like, you know, just like breaking down the stigma of like it's pretty much just like having a person to talk to. And like if you are just struggling or like not even struggling with like anything, it's literally just like you just want to talk about your day. I feel like they'd just be like, okay, cool. I mean, I feel like I don't know. It's just another person to talk to, I feel like. And if you do first chance have like something you do want to work through, they'd be there and like help you out with those things. And I feel like that's something that's very valuable and like you can find in like friendships or relationships or you know
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but like I feel like with a therapist, there's more like to some like there's the incentive of like getting paid. They're getting paid to do it, so I mean like
Mm-hmm.
and like they like went to school for like I assume like some sort of psychology, and sounds
Hopefully.
like whatever that might be. So like if you're looking for like more help than like someone else can or like your friend or your family member or like your significant other can give you, like that's a great way way to go to a therapist and whatnot. And like you also shouldn't expect like your the people in like your relationships and like friendships or whatever like people in your life to have all those answers, because it's just like no one's going to have all the answers. That's
Mm-hmm.
tough. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Therapy is just like another way to like help possibly get you answers you're looking
Yeah.
for as
It
well.
seems like a way to get like objective advice because friends are helpful, but I
Mm,
feel like if it gets like too deep in there, it might be hard for them to give like honest advice if they don't want to like hurt your feelings.
yeah. Or if they're like, I don't know, they're always going to be on your side no matter what, even if like,
Even if you're
even if like
wrong.
you could be in the wrong. Yeah, exactly. But I feel like there's also those friends where they just be like, yeah, no, you're definitely in the wrong. Like, I hope you
Yeah.
acknowledge that. I'm still by you, but like, I hope you acknowledge that. You're like, yes, okay.
And if you have that kind of friend, consider yourself very lucky.
Yeah,
So
honesty
clearly
is.
it's not me because I'm the one telling you like it's not bad to eat a whole bag of chips. I did that
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah. No, no, it is good. I appreciate your honesty with your own chip endeavors, your own snack endeavors.
Mm-hmm. I have this nice like third chin, second, third chin to prove it.
It's beautiful. I do too, and it is. I've come to embrace them all.
I think everybody has the chin. What are we talking about? It's just human.
Hmm.
It means you have
Hmm.
skin, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Skin,
Yeah.
whatever. It's definitely hard to sometimes get used to, and like there's some days where I'm like, I hate having a double chin, but also some days I'm like, this is nice. I appreciate you. Here we are.
Mm-hmm. Let's
But yeah.
see. So, I think for one of my closing questions for you, bringing
Hmm.
it back to you being a recent college graduate.
Yay.
See, so there, as you probably aware, classes have started for the fall semester. It's been about 6 weeks. So, what is your advice, if any, for new freshmen right now?
Ooh, new freshman. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a crazy time right now to be in school, so give yourself a break, whether that's like physically and literally a break from college, even though that's not what you probably planned. Because like you can go to school anytime you want. Um, Even though it's easier said than done to just like drop out right now. But like, I don't know, just like I don't know, take all the time you need to like figure out who you are and what you want, and if like what you're going for in school is really what you want, and like if you can see yourself just like truly enjoying it like during your time there and like afterwards. But also if like you realize like you're not enjoying yourself in school and everything like that, or whatever, it's just like don't be afraid to do things for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because it's again, it's easier said than done, and it's really hard to do, because like I feel like especially in the States it's just like so like I don't know what the word is or anything. It's just like so normalized that like, oh, right when you're 18, you go to college, you move out of your parents' house, you go to
Yep.
college, you do this and that. But like that's not always the case. And like it's not always the case that like you're going to be in a pandemic and it's your first,
Mm-hmm.
semester, term, or whatever in college. So like things happen, and like things
Mm-hmm.
happen for a reason. If like you just realized that like you hate the class that like you thought you were going, like in the field that you were going to major in, like don't major in that in that thing, because like you're just going to be unhappy. And um yeah, just really focus on like what you want, and like just try not to feel as much pressure,
Yeah.
from other people as you can, even though again that's really hard, and I still do that every single
Mm-hmm.
day probably. But yeah, I don't know, that's just like one
Yeah.
thing, just
No,
to like
that's
just to keep in check like
yeah. It's
on what you're
really
enjoying. Yeah.
something very interesting to see how much societal standards are ingrained in us. Like we don't realize that until we want to do something different, and then we feel guilty. We don't realize why.
Yeah.
It's like it's not hurting anybody if someone decides to go to trade school or decides to just get a job right away and make some
Right.
money. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're better off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I felt like that same yeah, I felt the same way like when I was about to graduate high school, and I was like, I don't really know if college is for me, but like I went anyways, and like, whatever. I mean, like I think it was the right I mean, I did it. Like I feel like everything happens for a reason, so like it happened for a reason, but also like I probably would have done just fine if I worked somewhere for a year, or like traveled for a year and then came back and like knew what I wanted more. Um but yeah, just like, and I also exploring options is like
Mm-hmm.
always like just keeping your options open, and like never, you know, like never shutting the door you know, on the options that like at least interest you, and like always doing research on, at least like, I don't know, doing more research on options like never hurts anyone, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it either solidifies or it doesn't, that like that's possibly something like you want to do. But yeah.
Yeah, for all we know, you could have a love of painting, and then 20 years from now, you'll rediscover it.
Yeah, exactly. So just like,
Or a
I don't know.
ballerina. I don't know your life.
Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird. I can't imagine what college freshmen must be feeling like right now. I just feel like I would assume it's just very overwhelming. And so hopefully, you know, college freshmen can like just like, I don't know, find their own ways of, enjoying college and like really using the resources that are hopefully given to them by their school, or like if they have resources like outside of school, just really like confiding in other people at this time too, and people who are going through the same things that they are able to.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
mhm.
Yeah, I feel like with them and as well as your class, you guys just have to grow up faster because of this.
Right, yeah.
Or maybe we all do. I don't know. Maybe I'm in that category. Don't even realize
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, like, even for you, I mean, like, of course you're not a freshman, but you're also just starting a new chapter in your life that's like obviously different than what you expected.
Oh
So
yeah, it is graduate school though, so I am luckier because I kind of know how college works.
yeah,
Kind of.
yeah. After a few years, it kicks
Yeah,
in
I know.
hopefully.
5.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, do you have any last thoughts or wisdom you want to share to my awesome subscribers?
Well, it's nice to be among the group of subscribers as well.
Oh, did you subscribe?
Yes, I subscribe. Thank you.
Oh, whoops!
My goodness.
I didn't
Fine,
know
you get the
that.
last one. Never
Oh.
mind.
Did
Ha.
you, did you binge watch my videos like you said you would?
I watched one, but that was it, the one that you sent, I think. And then I honestly just like the week got by. Sorry, Katie. Here we are. Yep.
And I was gonna make you my first guest. Delete. No.
Snap. Fine. Any last things? No, I mean, thank you for having me on your lovely, wow, there we go, on your lovely channel and having a lovely conversation. I very much enjoyed it.
Same here. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
we can bring you back in the future if you're interested.
Gosh, yes. Thank you. If you need anything, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this is Sarah is my guinea pig.
Yay.
I don't really know where this series is gonna go, if it goes anywhere at all. But it's fun to like talk to people, and who knows?
Mhm.
Maybe our conversation will give someone else ideas, or I don't know, make them feel better about doing nothing like me.
Right. Yeah. No, you never know. I think this is a great video. And if we need to do anything else, I
If I
am
can't
down
record
to
the
be.
name of the school out of it.
I feel like only one mix up with that is a pretty good job overall.
I
Like,
know, but I've been doing this like because I do the other podcast, so I've been practicing it for over like a year. So it's like, oh, I messed it up.
no, it's fine.
I thought it was gonna be you who messed it up, not me.
Wow. Yeah, honestly, me too. So, but yeah.
Breaking standards. It's
Yay.
great.
But yeah. Katie's an
Alrighty.
awesome person. She has an awesome channel. I'm very excited to be on here. Whether you see my whether you see my face or you just hear this voice.
Oh, fun fact, guys. On the podcast, apparently someone thought I was like white when they just heard how I talk.
It's like, oh, interesting. There you go.
They thought I was like a white girl.
Well, are you not telling me something, Katie?
What? What are you talking
No.
about?
Mm-mm. It's fine.
Anyway, I guess that concludes our conversation, Sarah. So thank you for
Yay.
being the first guest.
Thank you for having me, Katie.
All right, I'm going to stop recording now. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on that first conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said earlier, if you had any questions or stuff you just want me to talk to other 20-something-year-olds about, feel free to comment. Like I said, this is a very open-ended project, a very open-ended series. I don't really know where I'm going to take it in the future. I do hope that I can have many more conversations in the future with other friends in their 20s, other people in different areas of their life. So, yeah, if you have any ideas, let me know, and have a wonderful night. Oh, and thank you again to Sarah for being my lovely first guest. It was really fun having you, and I hope to bring you back. So, yeah, see you later, guys.